Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Hog Talk Podcast, live from the Sterling Soap and Roastery Studios, part of the Believe and Buzz Radio Network, where you can hear us each week on 106.7 Buzz 2 in Central Arkansas. All live shows are presented to you by Arkansas Brewing Company in downtown Ozark. I am Porter Hayes. Alongside me, as always, is Adam Hall. And on tonight's show, it is game week. Week one is here. There will be actual football played for the Razorbacks as they take on Alabama A&M this Saturday, 3:15 on the SEC network. The official two deep roster was put out. You heard from Sam Pittman today, which we'll go over a few notes I got from Andrew Hutchinson. And then just talk about the rest of the games, top games: Texas, Ohio State, LSU, Clemson, Alabama, Florida State, and Notre Dame and Miami. So if anybody has anything other than football planned on Saturday, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Felt like that kind of this last Saturday with, the few games that kicked off. We had a sloppy game in Ireland. It's one of those things.
Even paint the field. I texted you that. What was the deal? Like
they painted it pre-game. Like it was painted beforehand. It just wasn't painted very well.
Okay.
But then the rain and whatnot. Plus, it's a soccer field, so there was some grass issues and things of that nature. Then we have the quarterbacks. Dad and brother fighting with each other after the game, which I guess in full Irish, you're there, so you might as well throw down while you're there. But
it looked like he was trying to drown him in that puddle.
Overseas games, I'm just kind of like I'm over. I get wanting to bring the world, the game to the world, but it's between the NFL doing it every year and then this, I'm kind of over it all.
Yeah. Well, it's one of them crazy things of, I mean, I guess you could say they were ranked opponents. It was a quality game, but I mean, when you do those things, I mean, like NFL, I think they play at like 9 a.m. I mean, they're trying to do it. I understand getting hyped up, but I mean, there was a lot of people, college game day hadn't started. So it was a true week zero because I mean, it was some good games. I mean, and then you had Hawaii beating Stanford, a kid who learned how to kick field goals on YouTube. So you think about a program like Stanford, they're starting their season off like that. Some crazy stuff happened. And then, of course, this week, big slate, but Arkansas is the focus as they take on Alabama A&M. There was a scary situation that happened earlier of threats of an active shooter, which was essentially stated that there was no threat, but then you've seen the viral videos going online with the two yahoos that were going around with Nerf guns. And, it's one of those things this day and age, you cannot joke around like that. You can't joke that. Not only is it stupid, but you are putting your safety of others and yourself in harm's way, because who's to say that you're floating around guns like that and they don't know the difference and they pop you off. It was just a horrible situation that you can't not take seriously. So all the alerts that was going out, the coverage and everything, I mean, yes, it sucks that all this was for nothing, but you are thankful in the same time that there wasn't a legit active shooter. There was nobody harmed, no injuries. So very thankful for that.
Well, it was the first day of school, and this is what we're doing. I think since Thursday, there's been 5 active shooter threats across the country between, I think, 2 at Villanova, 1 in South Carolina, Arkansas, Tennessee, Chattanooga, and none of which anything was going on. There were false alarms, if you will. But yeah, somebody is going to get hurt on these false alarms, and it's not going to be pretty. It's one of those things. If they're students at the school, expel them, be done with it, kick them out. So there should be zero tolerance for it.
Yeah, if you're doing that already, I mean, you don't need to be in class. You need to be sent home. I mean, it's just too dangerous. And again, you're putting a lot of manpower, people looking all over this huge campus for shooters that aren't. And then you got people going around just acting ignorant and posting videos of Nerf guns. So, they think it's a joke until it's time to be an adult and they're sent home packing week one. I wonder how that conversation went with the parents that you're already getting expelled week one. So, but no, Sam Pittman did meet with the media today. Of course, you're going to feel good about your team. I did have a chance. I listened to Trey Biddy a little bit this morning on his show, and he was just talking about, the honeymoon phase. I really was intrigued by his takes, his honesty. We've seen it with his walk and talks, but for him, there's a lot of people, Adam, on the Kool-Aid. I've seen a lot of projections of 8 wins, 9 wins, and I don't know, unless they're hoping on a prayer that they do well, just to say, hey, we told you so. That's the only thing I can think of. I just don't see when you having a guy that is, Blackstock moving over the defensive line, and he's already second in the depth chart. You're facing some injuries that Sam Pittman noted, Antonio Jordan, Rodney Hill, Raylan Sharp. Some of these your game time decisions you'll be playing, but you have some that's season ending and then a couple of weeks out. But Antonio Jordan, that high ankle sprain, those always scare me, because they aren't just you rolled your ankle and you let the swelling go down and you heal. That takes a little bit longer to heal from. So somebody that we wanted to be a breakout star to help out in the wide receiver room, you don't know what his relationship with Taylor Green is. And if he was the guy that was being targeted, now you're going to have to focus on somebody else. This is a good game to be able to build that trust with the other wide receivers.
Yeah, I don't know or understand the shift. The thing that worries me most with the moving of Blackstock right now is, it just screams we've got defensive line depth issues. And I don't feel like that's something that you want to tell the world, this early on. And whether it's whatever issues with Blackstock since he's been here, he hasn't really cracked the offensive line of anything prominent. You didn't know that this was an issue just now. You know that this has been an ongoing issue with him on the offensive line. So why are we waiting until now, the week before, to move him? I don't get it.
The only thing I can think so is just how the timing of the injury. Maybe that's the only thing. They're already thin. You're on the fence of, do we move him or do we not? But that's the only thing I can think of that would, with the timing of his injury, to move him over. But another thing that got me, Sam Pittman was talking about today is, like, again, we're fast, we're strong, we're fast, we're strong. And then we still have competitions going in to see who's going to run with the ones. To me, you would think that you would have that sorted out by week 1, and that they don't. And you're already, and if this was a deep team and you're really battling it out and you just had that much depth where you couldn't choose between one or the other, but you're not on the defensive side of the ball, and you're still trying to figure out who you're going to put out there, that again is where I'm not seeing all this hype about 8 or 9 wins for this year. No. You're going to be going up against SEC teams, and you don't know how deep you are on the defensive line and your back end, who's going to be running with the ones. That's alarming to me.
And then even on the offensive line, I know there's a lot of questions. There has been really since day one here. But, looking at it, there's some things that, that I do. I like that I feel, I'm not going to say comfortable with the offensive line, because I don't think I'm ever going to be comfortable with an offensive line for who knows when. But looking at it now, I'm not saying I've settled with it, but I like that there's less questions surrounding who, what, when, where, why. I've been saying since last year that I thought that Kobe Branham was going to be a starter sooner than later, and we're seeing that now. He's, bringing in Shaq McCroy. What is it? Kittler? I can't pronounce his name. Kittler, the center from UCF. I'm not saying I have the warm and fuzzies about this offensive line, but I'm not as worried about the offensive line as I am the defensive line.
Yeah.
So, if the offensive line can protect Taylor Green long enough to where you run by choice, not by necessity, I think that's going to be huge. Obviously, we've got to have, I get that we're going to be running 3 or 4 deep at running back, and that's what they want. That's what Bobby Petrino wants. At the same time, I want to see a 1,000-yard rusher. I don't want to see it split between 800 yards for one, 600 yards for one. I get it if you have the production. I just want to see that 1,000, 1,100, 1,200 yard rusher. Call it what you want. I don't think many would disagree because if you get the production, you get it. But I like when there's a clear cut one.
Yep.
I think there's less questions that surround it game by game. I'm not saying that you're not going to feature the 2 or the 3, but just stop all the questions surround it.
And I think in a sense they do with Mike Washington, but that just shows you, all right, where's Braylon Russell's head at? Where's his progress at? Then behind him, Rodney Hill and then AJ Green. But to me also, I want, if Taylor Green is to get 600, 700, 800 yards rushing, I want it to be designed runs or RPO stuff, not you're scrambling for your life and then you go pick up 10, 15 yards. That's a big thing. If you can hold the line where you can keep him in the pocket where he can see downfield, he can make his throws, look off more than one receiver. You look back at these old clips we've seen leading up to this season with, Wilson and Mallett. They were able to stand back in the pocket and fire it down the field or run when they had to, not because they were scrambling for their life. That's the biggest thing I want to see. And it's also going to help the offensive line. You're going to sit there, stand in the block, and then he takes off running. Now you got to go into run protect. Then you got to go downfield. And all that does is wear on an offensive line that's already thin. So this game will answer a lot of basic questions on where they're at, but you can't. This is like a scrimmage. You've got to take this game with a grain of salt. We've seen what happened in the UAPB game where they won 70 to whatever, 3 or whatever the final score was. If they put 60 up, that's what they're supposed to do. Take the first couple of quarters, see how they're protecting. Alabama A&M loves the blitz. They run a zero package that Sam Pittman talked about in the presser. You can't let them get pressure on Taylor Green, because if you're getting pressure as Alabama and A&M, Arkansas State's looming, Ole Miss, Memphis, and Notre Dame are sitting there licking their chops.
Yeah. I mean, like I've been saying, we said it last year, and I think the same goes, you've got to get Taylor and them out. First let them play the first series of the third quarter for adjustments and whatnot. Pull them out afterwards. We didn't see that last year. I think it was the fourth quarter before Taylor was pulled. So I think that's something that you let KJ Jackson get in. You let the younger guys, and I would even say pull Taylor and let KJ Jackson run with the ones for a few series before you pull your other ones, just so he can have some reps with the number one receivers, with the number one offensive line, and then go from there, start pulling people. Because there's going to be a point in time, it happens. It's unfortunate, but it happens. Even if it's just a series later on, that say Taylor goes down for a series in an SEC game, you want KJ Jackson to have some repetition with the ones and it not all be new to him. So I think this is a game that, you go in, like we always say, you don't show all your cards, let a bunch of guys get in, and then you get ready for your trip to Little Rock against Arkansas State.
Yeah, it's a long month. This is a marathon. And you can look at this where there's a lot of people, you need to be starting off 3-1, or if everything goes right, 4-0 heading into the Notre Dame game. You have an important month, and I am right with you. Last year, I think I was saying, wait another game. I think in this instance, because how important the Memphis game is, how important the Ole Miss game is, then you have Notre Dame, even the Arkansas State game. I mean, it is important these first two games to sit there and get enough as you can in, get this thing rolling, get them off the field, because those next two games before Notre Dame are going to be wars. They're going to be battles. That's where you get tested on your fourth quarter. You do your 2-minute offenses. You really get to grind it out. And then after the bye week, it doesn't get any easier. I mean, because after the bye, you have Tennessee, A&M, get a little break right there, Auburn, Mississippi State, but then you finish the year out with LSU, Texas, and Missouri. So if they play their cards right and keep everybody healthy, they have the potential. I say they can win a bowl game. But I mean, I'm looking at the schedule and where's the wins coming from?
I mean, even before everybody started doing their predictions and stuff. Schedule came out, and yes, it's me carrying over a little bit from last year, but like we've talked about, until you put back to back winning seasons together, I'm not going to jump on that bandwagon of predicting a winning season. You're going to have to pull out games that we don't have down, as guaranteed victories. Those games that one possession losses or one score games, whatever you want to call it. Those games that really, it was one or two things that were either bonehead plays or didn't go our way, or a Superman fumble at the goal line, or whatever the case may be. You've got to clean all that stuff up.
Yeah.
You can't let that dictate your season. You can't let that happen multiple times. And going back to like this weekend's games, in the Stanford Hawaii game, there was a player that I think got an unsportsmanlike, or he got a 15-yard penalty on a 12-yard loss on Hawaii. And so a Stanford player got the penalty. They got 15 yards. Hawaii ends up scoring before the half. You end up losing that game. And, it's things like that cost you. And those boneheaded plays, you can't let happen. I don't see 7-8 wins in this. I just don't. I can't bring myself to do it. There was a couple of games that I talked, which we'll get into our predictions on Thursday. A couple of games that I talked myself in or out of on that would have made it 6-6 versus my 5-7. But I just couldn't bring myself to do it based on last season. Especially you have a lot of new faces. Who knows what it's going to turn out like? I don't see the 8-9 wins. And like we talked about last week too, with moving to 9 SEC games next season, you need 7 or 8 wins before your bowl game, in my opinion, for Sam Pittman to be safe. I don't think it's going to happen. And even still, say you get 8 wins, I still think it's the end of the run. Before we head into this gauntlet of adding another SEC game and having 9 wins, I think that you have to make the change, whether you get 7-8 wins or not. I think it's time.
Yeah. There's just, and we'll break down that Thursday, 6:05 will be our prediction show. We'll give game by game predictions and, overall record, what we think and why. But before we do that, we want to talk to our friends at Fan Duel. If you're like us, Saturdays are for the Hogs, Sundays are for NFL. And with Fan Duel, you can bet like a pro. Whether you're stacking game parlay on college or sweating a last-minute field goal in NFL, Fan Duel puts the power in your hands with live odds, quick bets, and easy cash outs. New customers even score bonus bets just for signing up. So if you call the Hogs or you ride or die with your favorite NFL team, make every down count, bet college, bet pro, bet Fan Duel. And yes, again, like we said, Thursday's episode, we'll give game by game what we think, but the depth of this team, really, you look at that final stretch, we don't know where we're going to be at. And honestly, we haven't seen them really come out of a bye week. We think, okay, you have this good game against Auburn in a bye week, and then you just fall right back to rabbit hole, So, I mean, we'll see what happens on that. But what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick commercial break. After the break, we will talk about the Razorback raffle. It's finally rolled out week 1. And then we'll talk about some other key games coming up this weekend, including my Clemson Tigers playing LSU, and we'll give a few thoughts on that. But we'll be right back after the break. Searching for premium brewery products that will take your daily routine to the next level? Look no further than Sterling Soap Company. Our handmade soaps, aftershaves, and balms are made with only the finest ingredients that give you the ultimate grooming experience. With a variety of scents to choose from, there's something for everyone. Plus, our products are crafted in small batches to ensure the highest level of quality. So why wait? Visit www.sterlingsoap.com or visit our retail store at 16 West Walnut Street in Paris, Arkansas. Shop our collection and discover the difference for yourself. Upgrade your grooming routine with Sterling Soap Company. Are you looking for a place to grab a cold drink and some delicious food? Look no further than Arkansas Brewing Company. Located at 201 South 1st Street in beautiful downtown Ozark, our establishment offers a wide selection of craft beers and tasty eats. But what sets us apart is our welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. At Arkansas Brewing Company, you'll always feel like part of the family. So visit Destiny and Christopher Brockett and staff today and see for yourself what makes us the go-to spot for locals and visitors alike. Arkansas Brewing Company, come for the drinks and stay for the friends. Attention DIYers and home improvement enthusiasts. Are you searching for the right tools and supplies to tackle your next project? Look no further than Mentor's Hardware Store. With locations in Ozark, Alma, and Clarksville, our vast selection of hardware and building materials ensure to have everything you need. Whether you're fixing a leaky faucet or building a new deck, plus our knowledgeable staff is always on hand to offer expert advice and guidance. And with our competitive prices and convenient online ordering, Mentor's Hardware Store is your one-stop shop for all your DIY needs. Visit us today and let's build something amazing together.
Are you looking to take your career to the next level? Look no further than ATU Ozark Campus. As a 2-year satellite campus of Arkansas Tech University, we're dedicated to a quality workforce education, industry partnerships for in-demand jobs, and tailored paths for success. Our programs are led by industry professionals. Whether it's a certificate or you're aiming for a graduate degree, ATU Ozark has you covered. Visit our website at www.atu.edu/Ozark or contact us at 479-667-2117. Your future begins here. Welcome to Ozark Area Chamber of Commerce, where our mission is simple: encourage, promote, and aid an enduring environment of shared economic opportunity and civic development for the Ozark, Arkansas area. Whether you're a local business owner or a resident, we've got something for you. Shop our unique local businesses, explore the beauty of Ozark, and savor local flavors and find cozy accommodations. Join us in building a stronger community. And to learn more, contact us at 479-667-2525. Remember, together we thrive.
And welcome back to the Hog Talk podcast. And some big games coming up, but I didn't even catch this, really what it meant in the grand scheme of watching football. But Adam, we both have YouTube TV. YouTube TV and Fox are in a dispute leading up to week 1 of the Texas-Ohio State game. So I got an email about that. And, of course, you get the ho-hum. We are working. We are committed to continue to work with Fox in an agreement, but we'll offer you a $10 credit. So if Fox becomes available, you can continue to watch their sports news by signing up for Fox One. So for you, YouTube TV, I don't know if it's affecting any other entities, but you talk about a big bummer if this goes through. 11 o'clock is going to be kind of quiet around the house.
I feel like they just do this at this point in time to mess with us.
Yeah.
You're not going to not have this game on your network. Sorry for you. Like, you're going to get this worked out before then, or you're going to come up with some agreement to allow this game to air while y'all negotiate or whatever. I'm just tired of this year after year with whatever the network, because it's all of them at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to end up showing the game. Stop dancing around it. Stop trying to put your fans to email this provider or email this network, or it's their fault. No, it's our fault, because I know DirecTV did that quite a bit before on, hey, it's them, it's not us. Contact them now at this, it's all greed. It's all corporate greed, and I'm sick of it.
Well, yeah, it comes very fitting after Nextstar's $6.2 million acquisition of Tinga, whatever. But I mean, it's basically combining all those stations. In my DirecTV days, yes, we would see it every summer. They would do some kind of, whether it was Dish Network, DirecTV, and when they first came out with this YouTube TV stuff, everybody was jumping over to it, and I was like, listen, it seems good, but let's pump the brakes on just, you think how great this is. Cause I mean, when I first started with YouTube TV, I was paying $40 a month, and I'm already paying $95 just in the 2 years I've had it. And that's not counting for the Sunday ticket. So, you're seeing it everywhere, and especially with the ESPN making their merger with Fox. I mean, it's crazy. You see how quick the timing of these contract disputes or whatever. They know, like you said, they're going to get their money. So man, I don't know. I guess I'll have to find somewhere to stream it, but I was really looking forward to a full day of college, and there's some other games going on, but between the LSU Clemson game and then Ohio State Texas game, I mean, those are the two big ones that are coming up this weekend.
At this point, though, I think you're going to have a lot of people that are going to have their issues, gripe, complain, which rightfully so, but at the same time, because they know we will as fans, we'll get over it and find something else to watch. And, that's that, unfortunately. It's the unfortunate world we live in that we're still going to pay for it. We're still going to watch. We're still going to accept it. Just like, Arkansas football, we're still going to watch the product that's on the field, no matter who the coach is. So,
yeah. Well, and then you look, you got the game of it's Brett Bielema, but you got games on Peacock. You're looking at, some of the ACC games are on the CW. Looking right here, CBS. The biggest one, I mean, when you look at Fox, Texas, Ohio State, and then you have South Dakota and Iowa State. So not too many big games. It just depends on how they get that. And then, of course, the LSU Clemson 6:30 on ABC. But Miami Notre Dame will be Sunday. That's a top 10 matchup. And then Virginia Tech and South Carolina will be on ESPN Sunday at 2:00. So full weekend of football coming up. But getting back into the Arkansas side of things, the Razorback raffle is back. I was asking where this was at, and there's no hype, man. It's like they just put it out there, and it's like, okay, go buy your tickets, and we'll see which foundation member wins it this week.
I mean, that's you can't tell me or otherwise that it's not foundation members, high donors that have won so far. Which, more power to them, I guess. But at the same time, it's eventually, I feel like fans are going to catch on to it on who is winning and whatnot. And then it's going to get to a point where they're like, you know what? I'm not going to do this anymore until, Bill over in Wynn, Arkansas, or Rodney down in Pine Bluff wins it. I think at some point you're going to have fans that check out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think, are they, they're going to do it for the Arkansas State game? Are they going to make this a weekly thing? I mean, it depends on how much effort they put into this. If they're just throwing this thing out there and there's no promotion, there's no hype, there's nothing from the University of Arkansas that is really bumping this up. There's no, hey, look, if you buy this many tickets, we'll throw in. There is so much they could do with this. And it's your favorite word in the world, petty. I think they just did this to be petty, to not let Bet Saracen do it. Mm-hmm. And they don't care. They're making money off of it because it's going to the foundation. And to me, not only catching on to who wins, but the fact that the money's not even going to the players, it's going to the Razorback Foundation. So unless they're like, all right, let's raise money to get a new coach, I'm not seeing where, the big draw is to really get people behind this. I don't see it, but the university is doing nothing from a standpoint of just putting out a post and then that's it, or an update. I think, hell, Adam, I think me and you promote it more than they do. And that's just posting updates of where it's at.
Oh, 100%. And, it almost makes you, like, you bringing that up, maybe it's going to take an effort from, obviously, not just us, but other non-mainstream media outlets. Like, stop hyping it up. Stop talking about it just to see what happens. Because I mean, you send it to me, and then of course I open up Facebook and I see it posted in a couple other groups and whatnot. But it was hours before I saw the university's post.
Yep.
And and maybe it's one of those things that was in my email and I didn't look at it. Who knows? But at the same time, why not, a week or two leading up to game one, you let everybody know, like, hey, in 2 weeks, we're starting this back. Get it going. Yep. But you wait till the morning of. It's an oversight. It's an afterthought. They don't care. I mean, they're showing that they don't care.
Yep.
I mean, so it's one of those, if they don't care, why should fans care?
Yeah. The current jackpot right now for the fans is $4,700. I mean, I know it's Alabama A&M, but you know good and well if they were to really pump this up, if they were to really, you want to bump your chest and you want to say it's been done. You think right now, day one, you're only at 4,000. I don't care if you get to whatever, you get 200,000, but you know that you could do more. You act like you're the big guy, but I guarantee if this was done properly with the right marketing, with the right in a different realm, let's just say if Bet Saracen done it, I bet they'd have 2-3 times because they'd be doing it more often. They'd be doing other games. So it's really disappointing. But from my point of view, I'm already on this side of how I feel about Pittman and Yurchek on the jobs they are doing. And yes, Hunter Yurchek's done amazing jobs in other sports and everything. But to me, you have cash cow where you could have set this up to help players. You could have set this up. You already got Walmart and Tyson. You already said that they're not going to be the ones that helps the football program. Why did you take this raffle and make it to where it goes to the foundation? Where one, we know it goes to these winners, but where does that true other money go to? And if you lose the interest of the fans of knowing that we're not going to get but 50,000 out of this, if we even have a true chance of getting it. I mean, this might be like the Monopoly and the McDonald's Monopoly game. You think you're going to have a chance, but all you're going to get is a free Big Mac every now and then.
I mean, I think it's one of those that I don't know how they can spin this or how they could make this, get people excited, make it better, or whatever. The vast majority, I feel like we've already checked out on it.
Yeah.
First one was like, oh, cool, we're doing this. And then the more people talk about it, the more people see like, well, this isn't for NIL. This isn't for this isn't for that. You're just kind of like, why are we giving more money to the university? I mean, yeah, you get a chance at, 200,000 the first time or however much it was, 190 something thousand.
You've seen the drop too. I mean, what was the next drop? 90?
If that, something like that. Yeah. So it's one of those things that you tried something, it didn't work because you were stingy, because your pride and ego got in the way, whatever the case may be. You failed. It's over and done with. Kill it now. Figure something else out.
Yeah.
Go crawl back to Bet Saracen, admit you were wrong, and jump on board with them to let us do stuff on the app. Great. You put it on the Razorback app, so now we don't have to go to the website. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? That app doesn't work for me half the time. It doesn't even open. I sit there and it spins for 5 minutes and I'm like, okay, I'm done with this.
And that's probably because we're using a Hog Talk email. They got us automatically flagged of, shirts and whatever we just
get our IP addresses and it's all nonsense at this point.
Yeah. But to me, it's like every other little thing they do. They beat their chest about it, or they say they're going to do this, then they fall flat on their face. That's why we're so hard on it. And I mean, end of the season, if they end up doing well, I mean, we've already said we'll go in here and eat crow. But I mean, the whole condescending comments of you're talking to the media and you're talking to people like us, like we haven't watched your program for the last 3 years, wondering where you've been since COVID, and you're talking down on us like we should have you ranked, or we should automatically hope and know that you're going to win 8-9 games. It doesn't work like that.
No.
You say this was supposed to be the year. Now you're saying next year is going to be the year. We're going to be balanced with everybody out because, we're going to have $15 million a year, just like everybody else, to put in our football team. When everybody else is laughing at you like, yeah, that's cool. That's cute. We're at 30. We're at 40. And you have nobody backing you. And to be just quite honest, I think the people that could be backing this, they might want to back somebody else. Well, they might want somebody else to run this ship.
We called it out too once we saw that like this was kind of like in the works, what they're talking about, whatever. We called out what Kentucky brought in the Kentucky-Arkansas game in Rupp Arena. One of your biggest games in however long, and they garnered a few $1,000s for the winner, or like 40,000. I mean, it was chump change on what you expect these things to bring in. So I'm like, if you can't do that in Rupp Arena when it's Arkansas versus Kentucky and Cal's return as your foe, it's not going to bode well.
Because I think a lot of people, their frustrations of they see where this is going, and the posts and the tweets and the comments about, hey, we're going to do this raffle, or hey, we've got all this rev share, but man, we still want our people and our fans to give the NIL. It's just, what do you want? What do you want from the fans? Produce a solid 8-win program. And when I say 8-win program, I mean 7 is your bottom. 7 regular season wins is your bottom. You might slip and have a rebuilding year where it's 6, but I'm talking about your standard 7 to 8 wins, regular season, sometimes get a 9. I mean, and to me, a 10-win season, I think that's stretching the imagination. I think that's really being too unfair to the program. If you get a 10-win season, that's great. But if you go in between that 7 and 9, you're a 9-win program. You fall back to 8, you win 9, unless you're getting to the college football playoff. Then let's raise those expectations. But I don't count bowl wins anymore. They're non-existent unless you're in the college football playoff, just because of the opt-outs and everything. Now, if they change the rules on that to where they have to play in bowl games, then I'll start counting them again. But this whole 25 opt-outs, and then you're playing a half a team, and then you go beat a Texas Tech team or a Penn State or whoever, when both of y'all are playing half strength, or you got all your guys in and they got half their guys. I don't take that. I take that as an Alabama A&M game. Means nothing to me, other than you want to put a banner up and get ready for next year.
I don't think I feel like that there's an uncertainty on the direction to take the athletic department. I think that, and by saying that is, I feel like that there's people within the athletic department that want to grow, that want to do these things. We want to be innovative, one of this, one of that. And everything's brought to a halt. Hey, we're not going to risk this. We're just going to do the bare minimum to add to our bottom line, which is what the raffle is, to make one person look good.
Yeah.
And I think that that's where we're at. And I just think that you can't fully say that you're fully invested in this athletic department in each of these programs, and the athletes, definitely not the fans. So, just go ahead and say that, hey, this is just a business to you, and be done with it. I mean, because that's truly what it is right now. It's, what can I get on my own personal return on investment? Because it's not about the athletic department, the programs, anything like that. It's about what makes me look the best for when it's my time to go somewhere else and to build my resume.
You're looking like a Jerry Jones. I've made that comparison a lot of, you're just worried about your dollar, your money, and as long as it's making you money, you don't care. And yes, honesty, transparency about this, but at least if you're going to be that way, be productive in football. Have your football team be good. Have your football team set the tone for your school year, because we know where it ranks. It's football number 1, and then I guess depending, it could be a toss up between basketball and baseball, depending on what program you are. But right now, I would go football, basketball, baseball when it comes to the terms of the overall revenue and what it means to your program. Not have the success, because then you would go backwards. You'd go baseball, basketball, and then football. But until you start bringing that football program around to where you have people excited about it, excited about the players, wanting to give, wanting to donate, wanting to do the raffle, all you're going to be doing is sitting on these donations from your boosters that are on your stadium, and not the players that are playing for your university.
We don't matter anymore.
No.
The athletes don't matter anymore. It's all about one person only. And you can't convince me otherwise.
Yeah.
Call me petty, call me salty, call me whatever. It's just, I'm tired of the same results year after year after year.
Yeah. Give us something to change our mind about, and we'll take the butt chewing. We'll take the criticism of, we try to tell you all year that this is what we're going to do. You didn't believe in us. No, I'm sorry. I'll say it right here. No, we don't believe in you. We do not believe in how you lead this program. This has nothing to do with the players. This has everything to do with the leadership. We've heard in your darkest days, I don't know what I'm doing. How do you do this? I don't know. And then you have his guy standing behind that. We got a good football team. How many times in the last 5 years have we heard that this is a fast, strong team? But that's all we've heard from this team. But no, we don't believe in what you're doing. You have those that are out there that are, the fans that want you to be 8-9. They are hopeful that you're going to be 8-9 wins. And for those people who are media / fans, you usually give them a hard time, but I can see where they're coming from. You hope that they are an 8-win team. So you're going to put them as an 8-9 win team every year. It would be like me if I covered Clemson. I don't care how bad they were. I would be like, I really hope they're a 7, 8, 9 win team, or they go on another run and they're a 10-win team for the 15th year in a row. But for us, like me and you, who have watched this and not watched it with our rose-colored glasses on, we're not drinking Kool-Aid. We're not listening to these articles where Taylor Green's a dark horse candidate for the Heisman and they're going to win 9 games. Or, we're stupid for thinking that we're going to settle for mediocrity. We're okay with that. That's how we get talked to. So when you hear the brashness from me and Adam, that's what it stems from. We're trying to give our true opinion. We think this team, this program is in a spot where it needs change, and it might need change just more than the head coach. But then we get talked down about like there's no basis on why we should think that way.
And it's going to be one of those things that they'll continue to get mad and upset at us, other shows, whatever. But at the same time, you're not going to shut us up.
No.
You're going to, try to limit access, which you've already done and things like that. But that just makes me even more petty of a person. And I don't think the world wants that. So at the same time, just whatever happened. Just let it be. Let it go. Let us report how we're going to report. If you want us to report differently, change some things, and then we will.
And then don't lie. Don't say, well, we don't blackball people. We don't ban people. We don't do this for those that are talking negatively about the program, when I've heard firsthand that that's exactly what you said at SEC Media Days. You're looking for the people who are talking negative about the team. You're out to get them. So, when you think lower people don't hear what the top talking about, that's what we know. And it happens firsthand. We know from experience what happens when, we get something from a credible source. We don't say nothing. We just repeat what a credible source said. And yet you've seen the backlash we got and still being punished for that to this day. So don't say you don't ban people when we got banned for, and I'm just going to call out because he's got us blocked. You won't hear it. We took something Otis Kirk said. He put it out there on an outlet and we ran with it. And then we got to take the backlash because he got protected. He still gets to report. He still gets to talk when he's the one that started it. But then I have to talk to KP. I have to plead our case to where we get our stuff back. So, yeah, there's a little bitterness when it comes to that, but there's truthness. That's why. And we've said that for 3 years now. So we're going to give our true thoughts on this. And if, you want to change our mind, then we'll change our mind. Then we'll be like, all right, you're rolling with this. You beat Memphis by 17 points and you look like you're doing well. Then we'll start changing our opinion. But until then, we are going to keep these thoughts, and you'll hear game-by-game predictions from Adam and myself, end of the year record predictions. We won't give any predicted stats, but, we'll give some predictive wins, losses on Thursday's show.
Definitely. And as I'm running through here, I'm kind of multitasking. So far, this is switching a little bit of gears, but still hogs. I have come across 4 releases since we've been doing shows. So Dan Skipper has been released from the Lions. McTelvin Ajim has been released from the Bengals. Matt Landers has been released from the Titans, and Hudson Clark has been released from the Raiders. So I'm going through the cut list right now. I'm sure there's more to come, unfortunately, but that's where we are at as the NFL teams start to finalize their 52 or 53 man rosters.
And stay tuned. Updates. We'll have graphics and post about all things Pro Hogs too. So Tesla has been tearing it up. I mean, and then you've had a Felipe Frank sighting, catching a pass. So there's a lot of positive things to be talked about, and I know a lot of it. With Tesla, why is he doing so good in the pros and didn't get? I mean, there was a lot of stuff that goes into that. That's not one person's fault, So we can't really just. I say it's gang on that or pile onto that part of it, but you want us to every year we should have 2 or 3 guys in the NFL that are making impacts. You're an SEC team and you want this to be a successful team and you want them to go on to the pros. I mean, Cam Little, look, dude. I mean, seriously, we're talking could end up being one of the best kickers of all time, and he's barely got his feet wet in the NFL. So huge things from him. Very proud of the guys that's made it. We'll get the final roster cuts and things posted as soon as they get them. But before we wrap up, one more word from Fan Duel, guys. If you're like us, Saturdays are for the Hogs, Sundays are for NFL. With Fan Duel, you could bet like a pro, whether you're stacking a game parlay or college or sweating a last-minute field goal that Cam Little kicks in the NFL. Fan Duel puts you in the power in your hands. With live odds, quick bets, and easy cash outs, new customers even score bonus bets just for signing up. So if you call the Hogs, ride or die with your favorite NFL team, make every down count, bet college, bet pro, bet Fan Duel. Be looking for all those odds and lines from Fan Duel coming up in the future. We're going to do a lot more stuff outside of just rec stuff. We'll do SEC, we'll do NFL. Going to be a very exciting year for us. Hog HQ, Hog Talk Podcast. Now that we're off the soapbox, we got everything out the way. No more of that. It's going to be pure football from here on out. Hey, high school football is back. You got my Hillbillies flag. Northside's ready to go. So this is the week. It all starts on Friday with high school, Saturday with college football. Adam, you got anything else?
I do not.
All right. Well, for Adam Hall, I'm Porter Hayes. Want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Want to thank all of our sponsors, Believe Network, Fan Duel, and we will catch you on Thursday.